Pastor Janice podcast, Moments of Faith and Inspiration. This is the perfect place for anyone seeking encouragement and inspiration from the Word of God. Join Pastor Janice as she shares her wisdom and teachings on prophetic topics that are sure to enlighten and empower you on your journey of faith. With each episode, you'll gain a deeper understanding of the Bible and be equipped with practical tools to apply its teachings to your daily life. So tune in and let's grow together in faith and inspiration.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Pastor Janice podcast. Another episode, another exciting testimony to share. Before we jump in, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are tuning in live, those of you who will watch the rebroadcast, and those of you who are subscribed to the Pastor Janice podcast. If you have not done so, please go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Amazon, iHeart, wherever you listen to podcasts, and subscribe to the Pastor Janice podcast. There's something there for you to encourage your heart. But listen, season 3, we are dedicating this to individuals sharing their testimony. Listen, about 2 weeks ago, I threw out on Facebook and Instagram, if you want to share your testimony, if you have a story to tell and want to share it with the world, then I would love to host you on the Pastor Janice podcast. And I'm telling you, people flooded my inbox. People was texting me. People have stories to tell. And I believe that testimonies are a powerful tool to help other people come out of the situation, to encourage other people. And so today we have another powerful testimony. And I'm joined by my friend Nigel Smith, who is just an awesome young man. I actually met Nigel, I believe it was either my second or third year of seminary. We went to Mercer University, McAfee School of Theology. And he's just a light. He's just a warm-spirited person. And when he reached out to me, I was just excited because his testimony has some really ups, downs, just a eclectic story that he's going to share. And you're going to be blessed by it. So I want to welcome Nigel Smith to the Pastor Janice podcast today.
Thank you, Janice, for having me. So my testimony, it's very it's a little long. I'm gonna try to make it short as possible. But basically, right, so I like a lot of people in America. I grew up in church, so that's probably not crazy. I grew up in church, though. I grew up in a small Black Baptist church in a little town called Effingham, and the name of the church was Effingham Baptist Church.
Okay.
And it was there I was kind of introduced to God in many ways. And in church, I was super active. I was there from the age I was probably 6 or 7 to like 18,
Okay.
going consistently. And so I was active in youth. I was active in the choir stuff. I was a local trustee. I was an usher. I led corporate prayer, so I was very active.
Mm-hmm.
And it was there people really affirmed my gift for ministry there as well. But it was there that I also got a really bad taste of theology, and I really dealt with some very harsh things.
Okay.
And actually, but you know what? Let me back it up even further.
Sure.
So as a child, I grew up with my single mom raising me, basically, and my grandmother. And I lived with them and my little brother. And my dad, although we became closer as I became an adult, we weren't as close when I was a kid.
Okay.
He went to Florida. He was an addict. He got clean. He went to Florida, and he's lived there my whole life. He's now in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And so we are now closer as an adult, but as a kid, that part was missing. And so with that being said, my mom trying to basically get me into the right headspace and the right mindset, she took me to church growing up, and she took me to a place where this is all she knew, because this is a place she was going for a little while. And so as I went to this church, what I kept hearing really wasn't about God's love.
Okay.
I kept hearing a lot about God's judgment, a lot about how God, how if you do certain things, you're going straight to hell in a handbasket.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Whether you were, if you drank a little bit, if you smoked a little bit, if you went to a club, oh man, you were going to hell real quick. And so I grew up thinking that God just didn't like to have fun. I was like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
why am I following Jesus then? Like, if he doesn't want me to do anything, I'm just going
sure.
to go to hell anyway. And so, as this was happening in my formative years, I also was exposed to pornography at 12 years old. And so that created an addiction within me where I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a healthy place to put my hormones and
Mm-hmm.
my sexual wants and desires that are
Sure.
I realize now are normal and good. At the time, I thought they were deviant. I thought they were pervasive. I thought they were evil,
Yeah.
and I didn't have a place to put them. And so instead of running to my parents, instead of running to God, I ran deeper
Deeper
into
into it.
porn. Yeah, I ran deeper because of the shame and the condemnation I kept feeling. I
Mm-hmm.
ran deeper because of the guilt I had. Um, and so growing up, I still struggled with this pornography issue, as well as becoming a very judgmental person.
Yeah.
I
So let me ask you, Nigel,
yeah,
before
go
you
ahead.
continue, let me ask you this. So growing up in the Baptist church, you're hearing the condemnation side, you're hearing the judgment side of theology. So this is putting a bad taste in your mouth. How did that affect your relationship with God? Did you look at God as a loving father? Did you look at him as kind of this, you know, uh condemning God, I'm gonna whip you into shape? What was your outlook on God during this time?
Hmm. I mean, to be honest, I kind of looked at God as if God was either so far away that he didn't really care about what was going on,
Mm,
or I looked at God as like you said, this drill sergeant type parent that if you do one bad thing, he's gonna beat you, he's gonna stomp you,
mm-hmm.
he's gonna send you to hell. Like you can't be forgiven.
Yeah.
That's how I viewed God, and still to this day, I'm working through some of those theological understandings because those are not God's character. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of truth to it, but it's not completely who God is. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm still working through that to this day. But growing up, that's really what I believed about God. And so as I struggled with porn, it was very hard for me to feel like I could trust God with my sin, with
Sure.
the things that I struggled with. And because I looked at God that way, I
Mm.
also viewed people in the other sense that I believe that people could not do anything right. That if you did
Wow.
one wrong thing, you deserve to be condemned and canceled and all of these things. And so I struggled with being judgmental towards people. I
Mm-hmm.
struggled being kind of even being a hypocrite,
Mm-hmm.
because I would tell these people, "Oh yeah, I'm a virgin. Like I'm not having sex, and I'm in
Mm-hmm.
here like watching porn 3 times a day."
Sure.
You know, and so I created for myself such a hypocritical and judgmental and dogmatic way of viewing people,
Mm-hmm.
and so that also it hurt so many of my relationships growing up. It hurt a lot of just the way I viewed women, especially.
Wow.
Um, and so going to college, even I began struggling with depression more
Mm-hmm.
and anxiety. There was a point in my life where I felt like I couldn't, I felt like life really wasn't worth living. Like I wasn't completely
Mm-hmm.
suicidal, but
Mm-hmm.
there was a point where I was like, why am I even going to class?
Just
I might
kind of
as well just hang
hopeless.
out. Yeah, it's kind of hopeless. Like, what's the point? I'm never gonna beat porn. I'm never gonna get married. I'm never going to uh, retain these friendships. I felt like life was hopeless.
Wow.
And
So Nigel, because you're saying like a lot, a handful of things. So I want to just kind of go back, um, because of your outlook and your perspective on life. It
Mhm.
affected friendships,
Yeah,
relationships, romantic relationships, and just relationships with people in general. What did that look like? How did that show up when you tried to create a friendship? Was it like, I don't trust you, or just because you were so judgmental, no one could get close to you?
it was more of like yeah, like the latter. Like because I was very judgmental and like people who knew me knew I was a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was always like, why don't people just talk to me? Why don't people just talk to me? It's
Mm-hmm.
because I would berate people when they would say something. For
Mm.
example, right? I had my best friend in high school and college. He used to listen to like trap music. I'm talking secular trap music.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this thing is trash, man. This is unholy. This is terrible. What are you doing? And just berating him. And I did this for a few days, and he was like, "Dang, man, like I'm so sorry." And I realized at that moment that I created for him like an uncomfortability because he felt like he couldn't share something he loved with me
Wow.
because I judged him for it. I made it as if it was a part of his identity almost.
Mm.
Um, that this thing that I didn't like was so deep embedded in his identity that I questioned our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and to give another point to the romantic relationship piece, that was more affected on the pornography side. I felt like I couldn't be friends with a woman for a long time without lusting over her, without trying to pursue her romantically.
Mm-hmm.
That I've had many friends that were women that I just did that because I wanted to get something from them later
Sure.
on. And I struggled with that for a long time. It's only until maybe within the past 2 or 3 years where I've felt comfortable enough to pursue friendships with women without trying to seek something further.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that it created very hard things for me to pursue women with. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard for me to pursue women as friends. Very hard.
Wow. Wow. So,
And so,
you know,
it's,
you, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead. I was about to continue going. You go ahead if you had another question.
So you get to this place. So you get to this place, and I'm sure you're gonna hit this. This lasted from grades. Was this? You said you was 12 years old when you was introduced to porn. So
Yeah.
this entered into your life. It's having this negative effect on your life, as well as just the theology and what you was getting from church. Was there ever a point in time? And if I'm jumping ahead, forgive me, that you just didn't want anything to do with God, because again, you was feeling hopeless with life, not completely suicidal, but like, what's the point? I can't get over this. Was there any time in that journey where it was like, I'm done with God?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that I was like at a place where I was done with God, but I felt like I think I was just apathetic towards God.
Mm,
Like God was like God was like the out of sight, out of mind type friend. Like I
mm,
call on him when I need him, but I didn't really have a relationship with him. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Um, so I wasn't necessarily done with God, but I
Hmm.
also didn't have God in the forefront of my mind. God, slowly as I got older, he came to the back of my mind. And
Hmm.
it's crazy because even in college, like I did gospel choir in undergrad. I
Hmm.
did gospel choir. Uh, like I said, everybody knew I was a Christian. People call me Pastor Nigel in undergrad because always trying to help people. I'm always listening to people's issues.
Hmm.
Um, and so it's funny actually, now that I think about that, just how that was working there when I didn't even have that relationship with God versus
Yeah.
how I have now. That's crazy.
It's
Um,
like that full
but
circle moment.
yeah, low key, that full circle moment where I
Hmm.
see God was working in my life, even though I didn't really have anything to do with him.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't say I didn't want anything to do with God, but I felt like I just didn't want to pursue God in
Hmm.
a personal way.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And so I went to undergrad, like I said, dealt with depression and anxiety.
Hmm.
Definitely struggle with trying to be in front of people, struggle with people pleasing and just wanting to make people feel good about themselves, tell you the
Hmm.
truth. And it wasn't until the pandemic where things really started to change around for me.
Hmm.
2020, I was graduating undergrad, trying to figure out where I was going to go, and a few things happened.
Hmm.
One, I decided to go to seminary, even though I didn't know if I was really called to ministry.
Okay.
I decided to go to seminary because I wanted to continue my educational studies,
Hmm.
and I felt like it was something worth pursuing. And
Wow.
so I applied to Mercer, got accepted, bada bing, bada boom. But also during that summer, I graduated. I graduated from a school called Coker University, which is my undergrad.
Okay.
Pandemic happened. So I couldn't enjoy graduation. Everything got shut down probably in March. And so I was actually a resident assistant as well
Mhm.
during this time at a boarding high school. And so I was there with a couple friends, and it was just us because
Mhm.
all the kids had went home.
Went home.
Most of the staff went home, and so we could stay on campus since school was right there.
Okay.
And so we started going to school online, and it was there that I felt this inkling to start studying the Bible more. And
Mm.
so I started studying the Bible more, invited my friends for Bible study, and
Mm-hmm.
we just started doing that like once a week. And I felt there that the Holy Spirit started to form in my life, but it
Wow.
wasn't a complete change yet. Um, but I felt that inkling. I felt that connection with God starting to
Mm-hmm.
grow. And we read through Matthew, the book of Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus talks, and he talks about how there will be some that will say, Lord, Lord, then I do X, Y, and Z in your
Yeah.
name. And he'll say, depart from me, for I never knew
Yeah.
you. That when we read up on that, that stuck with me for months. And I was like,
Wow.
man, what does that? What does that really mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then in June, after I started applying to seminary and all that, um, I was door dashing because I was just trying to make some extra money because I
Sure.
couldn't go to work, and kept and it was a slow night one night, and so I was watching YouTube videos in a parking lot while waiting for an order to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran up on this YouTube video, and it was weird because I wasn't really looking at Christian stuff on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like the algorithm was a little weird. But I ran up on this video, and this video was titled A Testimony of Going to Heaven and Hell. I
Mm.
said, huh, okay, it's interesting. And I don't know how you feel about that or how anybody else does, but
Mm-hmm.
what stood out to me in that guy's conversation, and he was endorsed by his local church. I mean, he was at his church talking about this. And what
Okay.
stood out to me was the guy said, it's gonna be the Christians that bust hell wide open. I
Mm.
was like, hmm. And he said it's gonna be the one, and then he related it back to that verse in Matthew I was telling you about. But he said it's gonna be the ones that go to Bible study on Monday, the choir practice on Wednesday, church on Sunday. He said those are the ones that's gonna bust hell wide open because they
Mm.
don't have a real relationship with God. He also grew up in church. He also did stuff in church.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really have a relationship with God, and so he had an experience of experiencing heaven,
Yeah.
but also experiencing the torment and the fiery furnace of hell.
Mm.
And he said, "Man, I gotta tell Christians now, like, yo, you
Mm.
can't just do all this church stuff and think like you have a relationship with God.
Mm.
A relationship is something personal. It's something intimate. It's not just inviting God in your heart. It's pursuing God every day."
Woo.
And that hit me like a truck.
Mm.
I said,
Mm.
wow, am I doing this right, God?
Yeah.
And the little backstory, I've always had anxiety about going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Always had fear of death. Always. That probably should have gave me some type of inkling or acknowledgement there. But I had this fear. And so when I heard this video, that's what kept me up for like 2 days. I was
Mm.
like, Lord, am I going to hell? I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the enemy was seriously attacking me because I kept hearing voices like, you're going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no hope. You might as well
Just
kill
tormenting
yourself.
you.
Yeah, no, for real. This is the only time this ever happened where I felt like the enemy was attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept remembering, for God so loved the world, he gave his only son. Like, that's the one verse I could remember. And I kept saying that to myself. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, I think I need to rededicate my life to Jesus. And so
Mm.
about a week after watching that video, hearing these voices, praying, I was like, all right, Lord, I really want to follow you.
Like
Like,
full,
I
I'm fully
really,
committing to you.
yes, like
Yeah.
I am sold out. I want to do this and I want to do it right. And that's what I actually felt, like a transformation. Like I felt the Holy Spirit come inside. I
Mm.
felt an undeniable, unsurpassable peace. I felt wisdom and guidance. I was hearing from God. It was crazy.
Mm.
And that that was that was amazing,
Yeah.
And I say was because I'm in a place now, definitely not like I used to be.
Sure.
But I'm in a place now when life gets so distracting and so busy
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to hear God's voice. It's hard to
Yeah.
feel that peace.
Yeah.
And that's why like I thank God for the pandemic because it allowed me to be so free from distractions. It allowed me to be free from people and to
Wow.
just focus in on God. And
Yeah.
so that was 3 years ago. Wow. 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in such a better place. I'm in a deeper relationship with God.
Yeah.
I'm in ministry. I'm a pastor now at a local church in Pennsylvania. Um, and so I know God has been certainly working in my life
Yeah.
to just change the way I look at people
Mm-hmm.
and changing my habits and changing my
Mm-hmm.
views. Um, and I
So,
also
so you said, because we was talking about that full circle moment.
yeah,
And a lot of times, well, everyone that I've been interviewing on a podcast, they've all had that full circle moment. So here it is, you're young, people calling you pastor because of just who you are, your personality. And now here today, you're a pastor. Did you foresee that? Did you ever have conversations with God like, hey, this is what I want to be, I aspire to be? How did that come about? And how did you accept that call?
tell you the truth. I'm sorry if I'm sniffling too much.
You're
I
fine.
got strep throat. Um, tell you the truth, I didn't really accept it until like a year ago. Like I really was like, God, even in seminary, I'm like, Lord, I really don't want to do this. After I rededicated my life, I'm like, God, can't I just be that married husband with 3 kids sitting on the pew? Like, you really want me to do this? I just felt it in my gut. I felt it in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I said, I think this is where my life is gonna go. I was like, Lord, I don't know. And then I had this internship because it's a part of our degree.
Mm-hmm.
As well, I got my MDiv, so that's part of my degree.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I had an internship at a church it was a church I went to in undergrad. I
Okay.
went there on and off, and that was a great place. It
Mm-hmm.
was a place I was really first exposed to a different idea of God,
Mm-hmm.
different idea of worship, different idea of what community means and what church
Mm-hmm.
means.
Mm-hmm.
And so I reached out to them. I said, "Yo, I'm having this internship. I was wondering if I could be your intern." And I maintained a relationship with the pastor there since I
Mm-hmm.
graduated. And he was jumped on it. He said, "Yeah, like let's do it."
Mm-hmm.
And we went through some hurdles,
Sure.
but I ended up doing the internship, and I was there for about a year. And probably within 6 months, I was like, "All right, God, I see why you called me to be a pastor because I love this. I love being at church. I love
Mm-hmm.
preaching. I love walking with people through their journeys. I love
Mm.
community. Like working for the secular world is for the ghetto. Like, can I be real with you? Like, it is not fun. I would rather be with Christians every day if I
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so it changed the way I view work. It changed the way I view ministry.
Mm.
And so, yeah, 6 months into that internship, I was like, all right, I'm really gonna walk in this. God, I'm saying yes.
So
And so that's kind of what led me there.
did you have any, because it seems like, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but the level at which you walk with people through life and how you enjoy that, you do it to the degree because you didn't have that in your life.
That there's probably some truth to that. Yeah, to tell you the truth, I probably experienced some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Probably experienced a lack of that, and
Mm-hmm.
so making up for it because it's not that I'm trying to recreate that in my own life, but because
Sure.
I see what it can do when you don't have that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Especially for young people,
Yeah.
like I can seriously see the damage it can cause when you're in your formative years and you're making decisions about your life, and you don't have people who are wise and are
Mm-hmm.
godly to back you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can definitely be damaging. So I would say, yeah, that's probably why I feel such a passion for walking with people and trying to help folks I can.
Yeah. And so how long have you been pastoring now? I know you've graduated from seminary.
Well, I'm still working on my degree.
Okay.
I'm finishing this semester, so I'll be finished in
Congratulations.
December. Thank you, my friend. And um, yes, I've been pastor for literally 2.5 months. Yeah, I'm an associate pastor.
Okay.
So I'm basically walking under someone else and learning kind of what ministry looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And as a full-time paid staff, but I'm basically an associate pastor, which at my church means I work with some of our uh, congregational ministries. So
Mm-hmm.
that's going to look like our adult ministries and fellowship stuff, and working especially with our young adults,
Mm-hmm.
um, being a mentor for them, creating programs for them,
Mm-hmm.
and ministering to those in the community. And yeah, I would say that's probably the bulk of my work.
Gotcha. That's amazing. I'm super proud of you, Nigel.
Thank you, my friend.
Super proud.
Thank you.
So how did because I do want to talk about the book that you wrote, but growing up with a single parent household, growing up with your mom, and I know you said that you now your relationship with your dad is better. Did you feel like you missed out on anything with him not being in the home? I know I grew up with my mother and my grandmother, so my dad wasn't in my life, and I know that I see the effects of that even in my my adult age,
Yeah.
not having a father figure there. So how did that affect you growing up, you and your brother, growing up and to where you are now, the man that you are now?
That's a great question. Yeah, it's funny because I also try to make sure I stick up for my dad too, because
Yeah.
I never want people to think that he didn't like try or that he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
a good father or
Sure.
that he wasn't in my life completely because he was there.
Mm-hmm.
But I think growing up, like there was certainly a lack of just presence,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, just not having an adult male that I felt like I could rely on, uh, definitely it made me struggle a bit on what I understood to be masculine and
Mm-hmm.
my idea of being a man, my
Mm-hmm.
idea of how to treat women. I mean, it certainly messed with me in that place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so how I pursue relationships now as an adult is I really try to intentionally pursue people. Like when I have in my mind like that's a friendship that I want to cultivate or a
Mm-hmm.
relationship I want to cultivate, like I
Mm-hmm.
really try to pursue people because I know what it's like to not feel like you're being pursued and what that can do
Mm-hmm.
for you. So yeah, I definitely try to pursue people.
Yeah. So that's so amazing. So you all, Nigel is he believes in writing. He believes that it is a gift, that God gives us that shouldn't be taken lightly, but he is a awesome poet, and he wrote this book called Truth. And so he put it out, and I said, let me cop that, let me get it, and let me support my brother. But I read it in one sitting and loved it. And so I have a couple of favorites, but before I tell you what some of my favorites are, because it's just really good, can you tell us about Truths? Then we'll talk about how people can get their hands on it and stuff. But tell us about this, how it came about, where your mindset was. So just tell us how you created this.
Yeah, definitely. So Truths is a book of poems that I wrote. It's funny because I've been writing poetry since I was uh like I seriously started writing it in like high school.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember writing my first poem in elementary school when I was trying to talk to this girl and my mom helped me write a poem. And wrote it all up, put it nice and neat in a little folder and gave it to her. And obviously she rejected me, but I said, man, girls must really like poems. And it was fun to make it. And
Okay.
so in high school, as I was dealing with life and just my struggles, I was like, I realized like I don't like being vulnerable with people. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
sharing my life with people like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I love writing and I have a gift for it. And I think this is a great way for me to get it out there in the open.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was working on this book probably since I was in undergrad,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a whole photo shoot to get the book cover, like and some author photos.
Mm-hmm.
I had it all written up and published to put out on Amazon, and I was trying to use KDP, but I didn't have the margins right, and the book
Gotcha.
cover was too big, and
Mm-hmm.
just things stuff falling out of place. And I was like, all right, never mind, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
That was probably in like 2018, twenty
Okay.
nineteen. So then in 2020, after I rededicated my life to God, I started writing again.
Mm-hmm.
As that rededication happened, I felt inspired to write. And at the same time, you and I both know that there was a lot of things happening in America that
Mm-hmm.
created a lot of discomfort and
Yeah.
anger within us. George Floyd being killed, and there was like two other major killings that happened in America
Mm-hmm.
that really stood out. George Floyd stood out to me the most because I felt like that was such a horrendous and just an evil way to kill
Mm-hmm.
somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I struggled with that. I struggled with how to feel about it. And so
Mm-hmm.
I started writing about that, and I was
Yeah.
like, God, like this is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it was time for me to publish. I said, you know what? I have time. This is something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just put it out there and see, and I'm gonna see what happens. And my
Mm-hmm.
hope was to inspire other people to write. My hope was to find, my hope was to write poetry that other people can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
Things, especially for young Black boys, that they see this and go, "Oh shoot, it's not just me. Like there are
Yeah.
other people that see this and struggle with this too."
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really good. And tell you the truth, I've gotten a lot of good feedback. So
Good.
I'm excited about that.
Now, was this, did you ever use this, was it an outlet for you when you was younger? And even now, is it an outlet, or just more so like, I'm just passionate about it, so let me, when I feel, I have something to write, I write.
Well, it's a little bit of both. Like when
Okay.
I'm struggling very deep with something, I do try to journal in general. It's
Mm-hmm.
most of the time that comes into a poem.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some times where I've written something and I sit it down for like 2 years and then come back to it and finish the poem. Like it's just weird. There's some times where I'll just sit and I'll
Mm-hmm.
write a poem out in one sitting and I know I never have to look back at it again.
Yeah.
There are times where I write a poem and I'm working on it for like a year, just
Mm-hmm.
adding things, taking things away, speaking on it out loud, sharing it with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like so I don't know, I have a weird process, but um in a lot of ways, yes, it is an outlet. And then in other ways, I just like doing it. And
Okay.
sometimes I have the energy and capacity to pull one off. Um, I haven't written a poem in a while. I've done some journaling though,
Okay.
and this has been a very difficult season of my life as well as distracting season. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when God brings me into a season where I have more time, like when I graduate,
Yeah.
I'll probably be writing some more. Uh, so yeah, it's a really cool thing God has done in my life.
Yeah, and this was released in 2022. So
Yep.
everyone that's joining, thank you so much for joining. Shout out to everyone who's listening to us live. Listen, if you have any questions tonight, let us know. We're looking at the chat. But Nigel is opening up, sharing his testimony, growing up in a single family household, struggling with porn, struggling with bad church theology, seeing God as that fire, hell, brimstone God. And so he's been challenged in his life, but coming full circle now. He's a pastor, he's in seminary school. But now we're talking about his poetry. And so I wanted to say that I love lukewarm coffee. That was one of my favorites. It's all good, you guys. You gotta get the book. Lukewarm coffee.
Okay.
I enjoyed Heart. I
Mm,
enjoyed A Woman's Heart Taken, and
mm,
I enjoyed Sticks and Stones.
mm.
That was a
So
deep one. That was a deep one. That
yeah,
was a deep
Sticks and
one.
Stones is one of my favorite.
That's one of your
I like
favorites.
that. Yeah, so let me tell you the background on that real quick. So I used to work at Red Lobster as a server, and I don't know why, but I think all Red Lobsters just got some real ratchet staff, and so I had some ratchet coworkers, and
Mm-hmm.
so I had this one girl, and she was white, and she had her own struggles and going on,
Mm-hmm.
and I recognize that now. I couldn't then because she accused me of like stealing money from another waiter,
Mm-hmm.
because we kept our bills on us, and so she lost some money. This other girl lost money. And she was like, Nigel, like, have you seen it? I gave you some change earlier. Like, did I drop it near you? I said, no, like, I haven't seen it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out she left it at a table, but that's another story. So the other girl comes up. She's like, Nigel, are you sure you didn't have that? Are you sure you didn't see her money? I said, nah, but it's like you to accuse a black man of stealing something. I
Mm-hmm.
said that as a joke. I was just trying to be funny. And she was like, well, you're not that black anyway.
Wow.
And all the Christ in me left at that moment, and I
Yeah.
almost cussed out. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Praise God for the Holy
Yeah.
Spirit guiding the tongue.
Yeah.
I held it back, but I said, that really made me mad. And so I wrote this poem as a response to that because literally when my coworker told me I acted like a white boy, those words shattered my bones. It
Mm-hmm.
felt like she grounded them up, and it reminded me of all the insecurities I had growing up, where I don't have this black voice, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I speak very proper, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting told as a kid, like, oh, you're not that black anyway,
Yeah.
you know? And I tried everything I could to be black.
Mm-hmm.
And so man. So that turned something up into me.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
So is there another favorite that because I want you to share. I want you to share. I don't you want to share two, three? Share some poetry with us tonight. And then let's talk
Got you.
about because they're asking in the chat how can they get the book. So we're gonna tell you how to get the book in just a minute. So hold tight.
Okay. All right. So let me read this. I'm gonna read Sticks and Stones first, and we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. They say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Well, I beg to differ. When my coworker told me that I acted like a white boy, those words shattered my bones. Ground them into the powder she would use for her makeup. She left me paralyzed from the waist down. My blackness was truly dissected and picked apart for her pleasure. I had to dive into Jesus because he's the only one that could resurrect it. I felt ashamed to say I was black for 1 second, I admit it. I had to see if there was enough slang in my throat to consider myself black. That I need to sag my pants, smoke some weed, or go to jail. Karen, is that all blackness is to you? And yes, I called you Karen because your real name is not worth exclaiming. So, Karen, did you know prophets ain't welcome in their own homes and black folk ain't welcome in the country they were brought to? Did you know that blackness is not a row of dead bodies in the street killed by their infatuation with drugs, money, and fame? Blackness is not a uniform personality where everyone acts the same. We have a deviation of character, so please teach me, Rabbi of Black culture, because apparently I've been fooled. I've been bamboozled by busy Black brothers and matriarchal mothers. I've been fooled by cookouts, family gatherings, and weddings too. I do not have all the answers, and neither do you. Karen, did you know to be Black in America is to be told you must behave a certain way? And if you do not, the colonizers would throw sticks and stones to hurt you.
Wow. That's
Man,
powerful.
thank you. Thank
Powerful.
you. She broke my heart with that one, but
Yeah.
that's I'm glad that poem came out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Now
real
what's
quick, you guys, I
go
was gonna
ahead,
say
go
real
ahead.
quick, you guys can get you guys get this book from any place you get your books. Barnes and Noble, Amazon, Target, Walmart. It's listed on all your major retailers.
Wow.
Uh, but also you if you want to get a signed copy, you guys can email me at Nigel, Nigel, full FUL Smith at gmail.com. You let me know. I can ship out an order to you and I can personally sign it for you. Um, yeah, or you can message me on Facebook. My author page is Nigel Fulmore-Smith dash author.
Okay.
You can message me there. I can send you a signed copy as well.
Awesome. So I tagged him in the chat, Truths by Nigel Fulmore-Smith. But we're gonna
Mhm.
put his email there. We're gonna put his author page there. Now, one more time, give him your email.
Yep. My email is Nigel, Nigel, full FUL Smith at gmail.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Everybody's saying that's good. Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, all right.
Thank
So you gave us a piece, the sticks and stones. So I see a lot of stuff in here about her, women, relationships. Tell us a little bit about that.
So some of these are from different points in my life. So like you said, I'm a woman's heart taken, right? That's about my mom actually. And I
Mm-hmm.
wrote that kind of like from her perspective and just kind of thinking about like her relationship with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a man's heart taken is in the perspective of my dad and like kind
Mm-hmm.
of his relationship with my mom and women.
Mm-hmm.
So like or like tonight, the first poem in here that
Mm-hmm.
talks about how uh like tonight is the night he can finally speak up. He finally has the courage to say how he feels. His heart will not hold back. It won't be concealed. That was like a love interest I had in high school that I wrote about in high school. And I just
Wow.
brought that into this book. Now, one of my favorite poems I wrote in here is called Till.
Okay.
I wrote that about my current girlfriend. And um she's like my best friend. And so I would love to read that today if I can.
Absolutely.
So it goes like this. I want to love you till I return to dust. Till my flesh no longer cries out because you are not in my rib. I want to love you till Jesus comes back. Till we're mad because our forever honeymoon was interrupted. I want to love you till we go to heaven, till we become angels in God's choir, and we make subtle glances and remember the times we worshiped till we cried. I want to love you till the stars get jealous,
Wow.
till they scream because you are the only star that lights my life. I want to love you till I get tired of loving you. And I don't think I will ever get tired.
Wow. That's beautiful. And that one, you all, is called Till. That one is called Till. Got it right here. That's amazing.
Thank you, my friend.
That is amazing. So, and if you want to share another one, that's fine. But I want to jump back and get your take on. I want you to encourage, someone that's dealing with some of the things that you've dealt with, the porn addiction, the depression, the hopelessness, the bad theology and growing up in church, and just how that made you feel, and the judgmental spirit that you had towards other people, and how you would encourage someone through that. And then what have you learned through your journey? What's some of the takeaways that you've learned through your journey? But if you want to share another one, that's fine. If not, you want to jump into those questions?
I'll answer the questions first since you already brought it up, and it's gonna be on everybody's mind, and then I'll say one more poem.
Okay.
Basically, though, so your first question was, well, I know your second question was, what are your takeaways?
Mm-hmm.
What did I learn? Your first question was, say it again.
So if someone is dealing with porn, someone's dealing with depression, anxiety, and having that judgmental spirit because of the theology they've learned in church, what would you say to them? How do you overcome those things? And, like, what has God done in your life to help you get over those humps in life?
I got you. Yeah. So one thing I would say that I feel like God has done in my life is, he's continued to work on me. He's continued to be a friend to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, these are things I still struggle with. It's so funny because, like, although I know that there's freedom in Jesus, there's absolute freedom in Jesus, that when you give these things over, like, God will just take some things away like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other things too that are just wounds that have festered for so long, and they just require healing. They require time.
Mm-hmm.
And even like the porn issue, it's something I'm still tempted with.
Mm-hmm.
But by the grace of God, like, I know that I can go to him when I have that struggle, and I can say, Lord, like, I just want you. I want to be satisfied by you.
And he's not going to condemn you.
And he's not going to condemn me. Right. That is a big thing that's changed in my life too, is that I've begun to recognize that God is a loving father, that God is that he is close to us. One of the passages of scripture that always scared me was in Genesis, where so Adam and Eve sinned in the garden, and it says during the fall that God is walking in the cool of the garden, and he's searching for them, and he says, Adam, Adam, where are you? And that always scared me because, it says, then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And I always took that like he was stomping, and that he was like furious, and he had a belt in his hand, like he was ready to whoop some tail.
Yeah.
And I reread that as an adult, and I said, wait, he's walking in the cool of the day. He's walking. And I said, I think what God is doing is that even when we sin, that God is not trying to yell at us, that he's not trying to condemn us. So once you have that faith in Jesus, like, there's now no more condemnation for you.
Yeah.
He said, and I said, instead, God is walking close by me, saying, Nigel, what are you doing? Like, I'm right here. Just come to me. And I think that is something that I've had to accept and realize that God is doing it for me as well as everybody else. So that I don't have to be judgmental to other people, because, like, God is the ultimate judge. I'm no better than anybody else. My morality is not better than anybody else.
Yeah.
If it was up to me, the whole world would be jacked up. But it's up to God.
Absolutely.
it's up to God. And so God is also walking with other people to correct them from sin.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of their life, God is going to judge them. That is up to God. That's not in my hands. I need
Yeah.
to worry about what Nigel can control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you said, what's my biggest takeaway? I
Sure.
think my biggest takeaway from my testimony in my life so far is that, like, Jesus is really close, that he loves us, he cares for us, that he is a friend, a brother, a father. He's whatever you need.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Bible says, how does it say it? It's like, for while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us.
Yeah.
Paul says this, and so it reminds me, Jesus didn't wait for us to clean ourselves up,
Mm-hmm.
that we can only be clean by following him and having faith in him. And so my biggest takeaway is that I can't put on my own white robe, because even my
Mm-hmm.
white robe compared to Jesus is dingy.
Woo.
Still got stains on it.
That's it.
But only the robe of Jesus is
Mm.
fully clean. So that's what I need to follow. That's what I need to
Yeah.
believe in, so that I'm good in here. I'm right.
Yeah.
Then I got to walk that out every day. It's an everyday thing. You don't
Absolutely.
just enter. You don't just ask God to enter in your life, and then that's it. It's
Yeah.
it's you're good now.
Sit
Like,
them
no,
on the
you
shelf. Yeah.
yeah, put him in the backpack. It's fine. He's
Mm-hmm.
protecting me. Oh, it's an everyday thing to be transformed, to be obedient, to walk
Mm-hmm.
in that life. That's
Yeah.
what my biggest takeaway is. It's every day.
Yeah.
God is close. He's near, and He loves us.
That's good. And the Bible talks about working out your own soul salvation. It's a
Mhm.
journey. It's a journey. We're constantly working towards being more like Christ.
Mhm.
And so this has been powerful, Nigel. And I just want to say thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing your experience. And those of you who are listening, make sure you share this with your audience. Share with someone that will be blessed by this testimony. And the thing is, we never get to a place where we arrive. We're
Mhm.
constantly being changed and, like you said, transformed through the power of
Mhm.
Jesus Christ. And we're human, so we're going to continue to struggle with this flesh. But as Paul says, that we got to crucify this flesh daily. It's a decision, right,
Mhm.
that we have to
Yep.
make to walk and be Christ-like, and become more and more like our Savior Jesus Christ. So this has been
Amen.
awesome, and thank you again for sharing with this audience. So I want you to close us out, and if you have any other last words, but I want you to close us out with another one of your poems, so that you can bless our audience. Yes, God is a redeemer. He surely is. Thank you all for tuning
He is.
in. He is a redeemer.
So, yeah. So, since you said lukewarm coffee is one of your favorites, I decided I'll go ahead and read that. Plus, it's one of the more spoken word ones. So, and it's funny too. Lukewarm coffee. I always hated. I literally have always hated lukewarm coffee. Actually, for a while, I've hated cold coffee. And as an
I'm
adult, I
drinking cold
realized
coffee now.
I realized cold coffee is pretty good. You know what I'm saying? You throw a little ice in there and some creamer, it's pretty good. Especially during the summer when it's 100 degrees. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but I always hated like room temperature coffee. And we're reading Revelation, and I'm like, Lord, this lukewarm church, like, what is going on? And
Wow.
I said, God, I don't want to be like this. And so this was kind of like prayer. I kind of prayed to God,
Mm-hmm.
and just like me questioning my own, like questioning my own relationship with God, where I would
Mm-hmm.
say, am I being lukewarm here, or am I being on fire for you? So it goes like this. I don't want to be lukewarm. I want to burn with a fire that can scold the devil's tongue. I want to burn brighter than the hottest sun. I want to burn longer than the burning bush. I want to burn hot, hotter than Monday morning coffee. You know the kind. The kind I pour to get me through the day. The kind I pour that helps me deal with Lisa and Joe, or Jamez and Latoya. I want to burn like that coffee. I want to burn for you, Lord. But naturally, I'm more like other coffee. Coffee that, when poured, was hot, but has now sat out for too long, doing nothing. Coffee that has lost its steam. Coffee that, when you sip, it does not taste the same. It's lost flavor with its heat. I don't want to be lukewarm, but do I love you, Lord? Do I love you like a son would love his mother, running into her arms every time he wounds himself? Or do I love this world like a dog would love his vomit, engulfing its contents like he forgot it does not taste good? Maybe I should stick to being cold. At least the biggest trend in America is iced coffee. At least that's what I'm used to. At least I do that well. I could learn to be hot. I should burn hotter than Anglo-Saxons on Florida beaches. I should burn brighter than the sun, but even the hottest suns burn out at some point. And even the hottest coffee starts to get cold. I don't want to be lukewarm. Lukewarm coffee never tastes good, and it always gets spewed out of your mouth.
Woo, woo. Give me chills. We want to burn. Yes, we want to burn for the Lord, be on fire for the Lord. Well, Nigel, look, they said they doing drop the mic in the chat. That's awesome. So y'all, I want you to go support Nigel. Go get his book, Truths. Nigel Fulmore-Smith. All right, we're going to throw it in the chat once we end all of his information, so you can go support my friend. And we look forward to more work from you. We know you're a busy man, but we know that God has so much in store for you. And I just bless you, Nigel. I just speak God's blessing over your life. And you're just such an encouraging, your spirit, your smile, your warm spirit, you're just encouraging. And so I just thank God for you.
Thank you.
I want you to hold tight. Everyone listen, I want y'all to give Nigel some love in the chat. Thank him for joining us on the Pastor Janice podcast. Listen, we have so many more awesome testimonies coming up this week and next week. So I want y'all to stay connected, tune in. If you have not subscribed to the website, I want you to go to janiceborges.org, subscribe so that you get our newsletter that we send out monthly. And you know, all of the trainings that we have coming up next week, Friday and Saturday, we have a prophetic intensive training. If you haven't signed up, make sure you sign up. If you've been a part of prophetic intensive before, I've shared some testimonies of people. Make sure you come sign up. We would love to see you, your face in the place, and just pour into you. But we got a lot going on, so make sure you stay connected and go and subscribe to the Pastor Janice podcast. Once we're done with this live, the audio will be uploaded on all of the podcast streams. So make sure you're connected with the Pastor Janice podcast. So again, Nigel, we thank God for you. We love you. And until next time, family, we'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining Pastor Janice. Take time to visit the website janiceborges.org and subscribe for our newsletter. Check out our available courses, books, and other resources. Please consider supporting our global missions projects. We will see you next week for more faith and inspiration.